set, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sound of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 15 to 10 to 5. A touchdown with Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tavon Austin.
The Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride!
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
Leave no doubt tonight. They shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another live stream here on the Country Roads webcast, December 12th edition. As we've continued to cover this coaching search, we've got to see it through to its conclusion. And of course, the thing we were all waiting on to just officially wrap this thing up was, of course, the press release from WVU. We got that this morning, the official announcement, making this thing a done deal. Now we have the introductory press conference coming up tomorrow, and we'll talk about the details of that throughout the stream. So I just want to share with you guys the official announcement, because you get some quotes from Ren Baker, some quotes from Rich Rod himself as he returns home to be the 36th head coach of WVU after already being the 32nd previously. We're going to share the official announcement. We're going to share the details of the press conference, of course, involving Pat McAfee. And then we've got some fun clips to share from himself there, Pat McAfee, talking about Rich Rod and, of course, the press conference and all of that good stuff. And then also got some clips just recently came out on WVU football social media, kind of chronicling Ren Baker going to pick up Rich Rod and getting him on the plane to bring him back home to WVU. Some good stuff there. So we're going to share all that. That's kind of some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you guys throughout the stream. Other than that, of course, just chat with you guys. Let me know how you feeling now that this is official. There are any questions you got, I'll try and catch up on those for those who are in here live. But whether you're watching live or in a playback, you can help us out by hitting that thumbs up button. Just giving us a like on the video really helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm. And be sure to subscribe here for a ton of Mountaineer football coverage, including building this coaching staff, building this roster throughout this offseason. We'll be covering it all here on the Country Roads webcast, so be sure to subscribe here if you haven't already. So let's start it off here by sharing the official announcement here from the university. If I can find the press release here, I had it pulled up a second ago. There it is. All right, let me share the screen with you guys. All right, so this morning, coming out officially from the university, you see the great graphic with the Take Me Home there, and that's also what Rich Rod tweeted out, was Take Me Home. But 10 o'clock on the dot this morning, of course, from Mike Montoro over on the university's official site there, WVUsports.com, Rich Rodriguez named West Virginia's 36th football coach. Rich Rodriguez went over 190 games and 12 outright or shared conference or division championships, has been named the 36th head football coach. Vice President and AD Ren Baker announced today. And then here is the statement from Ren Baker. We are thrilled to welcome Coach Rich Rodriguez and his family back home, Vice President and Director of Athletics Ren Baker said. Coach Rodriguez understands what it takes to win at West Virginia, and I believe he will pour his heart, soul, and every ounce of his energy into our program. I'm convinced Coach Rodriguez wants what is best for West Virginia, WVU, and West Virginia football, and I'm excited about the future of our program. Of course, then it talks a little bit about Rodriguez here. He's the architect of the no huddle, zone read, spread option offense that, of course, overtook college football, and everything that you kind of see involved in offenses now with the RPO kind of all starts back to when he started that zone read spread option attack that overtook college football first and even has spread to, the pro game now in today's days. He started in his coaching career as the youngest head coach in the nation at 24. He has spent his entire 30-plus year career, including 27 as a head coach, showcasing an outstanding resume. Master tactician, innovator, developer of talent, program builder, and a winner. And then we get Rodriguez's comments here in the official announcement. Rodriguez says, "I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to be the head football coach at West Virginia University. My family and I are filled with gratitude to lead the Mountaineer football program again and look forward to working with many supporters, fans, and friends to build the best football program in America. Take me home." Rodriguez has guided 6 different schools during his head coaching tenure, producing a 190 and 129 overall record, 2 ties in there as well, winning nearly 60% of his games, earned conference or national coach of the year honor 7 times, going back to the WVIAC. Then, of course, we know in the Big East, then in the Pac-12, and then most recently this year was the CUSA coach of the year as well. Led his squads to 8 or more wins 15 times, 10 or more wins 5 times, and has won the Conference Division Championship 7 times. And most recently, of course, like we said, just this year at Jacksonville State, who he just brought up from the FCS level. We get a statement from soon-to-be outgoing President Gordon Gee. "West Virginians always find their way home again," President says. "I have spoken to Coach Rodriguez, and it is clear that his time away has provided reflection and renewed appreciation for West Virginia and WVU. We look forward to having Rich, his family, and his winning record back in Morgantown. I extend my thanks to Vice President and AD Ren Baker for his leadership in running an efficient and thorough coaching search." Rodriguez has led his programs to 14 bowl games, including 3 BCS. Of course, we haven't known about the 06 Sugar and 08 Fiesta. And then, of course, also been in the 14 Fiesta and 2 Division I playoff appearances in the NAIA when he was back there, of course. Coached offenses that have produced 10 Conference Players of the Year, 56 NFL players, and more than 30 All-Americans. And most recently, recently, in addition to Coach Rodriguez being named the CUSA Coach of the Year, Tyler Huff, the quarterback there, was named the Player of the Year and the Newcomer of the Year there. 2,100 yards passing, 1,300 yards rushing. So Rich Rod's still doing what he does with quarterbacks there as well. Rich Rodriguez coached arguably 2 of the greatest dual-threat quarterbacks in the history of college football. Pat White at West Virginia and Denard Robinson at Michigan, who are the 2 all-time rushing leaders at the quarterback position. And then, of course, several outstanding others dating back to his time as an offensive coordinator at Tulane and Clemson, where he had Sean King at Tulane and Woody Dantzler at Clemson. Then at West Virginia, he had Rasheed Marshall, of course, to go along with Pat White. And then at Arizona, Khalil Tate. And then, of course, we talked about Denard Robinson at Michigan, and then at Tyler Huff just recently at Jacksonville State. He returns to West Virginia after leading Jacksonville State to outstanding success, guiding the Gamecocks from the FCS level to the FBS ranks over the past 3 years. 2024 CUSA Coach of the Year, compiled a 27-10 record, 3 straight 9-win seasons, 2024 regular season and conference championship, won the New Orleans Bowl, and which was the first time that a team moving up in their first year ever at FBS won a bowl game. In 2024, the Gamecocks boasted 8 first or second team all-conference members and 3 all-freshmen. The 23 season saw the Gamecocks make history under Rodriguez, becoming the first program to win a bowl game in its first season of FBS competition, as I just stated there as well. Didn't know that was in here, but wanted to point it out in case it wasn't. Gamecocks were 9-2 in 2022, 5-0 in the ASUN. Of course, that was in the FCS. His first year there was their final year in the FCS. So 1 year in the FCS, 2 years at the FBS, and a really good record there. And of course, then it talks a little bit about his previous history. I won't go through all of that. I think we know a good bit about, the previous history prior to that, but did want to touch a little bit on what he did at Jacksonville State for those that may not know. I know I've shared some of those stats previously. The running back, 1,600 yards rushing. The quarterback, 1,300 yards rushing this year. Really explosive offense. One of the top scoring offenses in college football. I think they were in the top 15, 37 points per game. Of course, he was a 1986 graduate of West Virginia and a native of Granttown. Rodriguez started as a DB and a walk-on in 1981 and became a 3-year letter winner as a defensive back for the Mountaineers, 82-84 under Don Nehlen. Of course, he and his wife, Rita, have 2 children, Raquel and Rhett, and they will all be accompanying him, as we've seen in the videos released today from the university. But there it is, the official announcement we were all waiting for there to, officially make this a done deal. And appreciate you guys tuning in here live as we discuss it a little bit now that it has finally become official with that press release. So I'm catch up on some of your all's comments momentarily. Then I got some other things that I want to share here. I see we got a super chat in here from WV Wildman 82. Really appreciate that, man. The $1.99 super chat means a lot. And if you guys want your comment to stand out and be one that I pull up, you can send it to the super chat, or we'll try and pull them all up from channel members as well, as we see here from Eric. Merry Christmas. And he's got the nice emoji there that you get if you're a channel member here. You can get that. You get the nice helmet beside your name there. And if you want to become a channel member here, you get bonus WVU football content if you do that, including game rewatch commentaries, film reviews, player grades from each game, snap counts, depth chart projections each week when we're in the season there for WVU. So multiple options there, but I appreciate the support any way we can get. It helps keeps the mics recording and the cameras rolling here on the channel. But if you want to support us fast, easy, and free, you can do that as well just by liking the video and subscribing here if you haven't already. But some comments we got in here. Big Ears Bo says, spot the damn ball. That's right. That's right. It does feel good to have some hope in Morgantown. I agree with that. Also, James Weekly, hey, what's going on, James? He says, let's go. My piss is hot. I'm ready for a fight. Hey, I know that's right. Super hot piss on this one. That's flaming hot piss now with Rich Rod coming back to town. You know, he's got that scorching piss. I've never been ready for 8 months to fly by in my life. WV Wildman 82 says, couldn't agree more, man. Talk about a season that's really highly anticipated. And we thought there was a lot of buildup this year because that Penn State game first season, and we thought we were going to have a good team. And it's crazy to think about where we came from, 3-4 months ago to where we are now. You wouldn't have been able to tell us as we were hyped for that Penn State game that in a few months we'd be, out with Neil Brown and bringing Rich Rod home. I think a lot of people would be surprised by that. But I think that this year we'll have an even huger buildup. It's going to be the most anticipated season in probably 20 years. I mean, close to it anyway, I'd say, for real. It's a lot of excitement. Touchdown City's back. The hard edge is back, holding the rope, spotting the ball, all that good stuff for sure. Scott says, glad Rich Rod's back. Good old West Virginia native. That's right. That's right. He can get it done here. He knows what it takes. He's from here, and that's the beauty of it. He knows what it means to us too, and so it means that much to him. And especially, I think when you hear Pat McAfee talk about, I'll share the clip here in a bit, but said that's one of the main reasons he feels like he wanted to come back was to make everything right and, have a second chance, complete the unfinished business, and, come back and get us where he almost had us before, but have us there consistently. Bring back pregame warm-up circle. Hey, that's right. The Right Now circle with the Van Halen song, man. That's lit. I think we should bring it all back. If we're doing it, bring back the glossy helmets, bring back the Right Now circle, bring back the inflatable helmet for the entrance, bring back the train video we showed on some streams here. Let's go all out with it. If we're doing it, may as well get the whole band back together. WVU Shrews 15 said, would like to see them bring back the helmet and the old school jerseys. Dude, they should bring back the 07 style. That was my favorite ones, man. Bring those things back. I'd be hyped about that. I would love it. Hey, my mom's in here. Y'all be kind to my mom in the chat. I appreciate you, Mom. She said, she told my dad I've been as happy as an expectant father. So excited. Yeah, I've had this shit-eating grin on my face like ever since it became official or was about to become official, because this is definitely what I wanted, and anybody that's followed me covering the coaching search knew it was kind of my top candidate all along. So definitely I was super happy with the way it went. And I think, like the way I've said all along, I think it was just kind of something that was destined. Fate was going to make this happen. The universe was going to will it into existence as much as we were trying to speak it into existence. And I definitely have been super happy ever since. Don Lewis says, I'm very encouraged. I hope all the money people that have said they are going to throw cash at the program do exactly that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know I've seen people throwing around the Country Roads Trust one-time donation link on social media, and everybody's been retweeting it and sharing it, saying they've been sending the money bombs. And I think it's up to like 20-some K that people have already sent, just regular fans. That's not, of course, talking about the big money donors that are going to really contribute to the program. Now, we're going to have more NIL money than we've ever had. We're going to be able to build a better roster than we've seen us build ever in the transfer portal NIL era. So it's going to be exciting, Don, for sure. Hey, another channel member chiming in here, Appalachian Paisano, spot the ball. Hey, that's right. That's right. For sure. JDK says, I hope it's a good buyout in case he tries to leave again. I don't think we have to worry about that. He said previously when he was on podcast and he was asked a question about if he ever came back that he would never leave again. And I think he's said as much. I'm pretty sure he wants to retire here now, and that's the whole reason he's coming back here at the tail end of his career. Wants to make good, win us a Big 12 title, and ride off into the sunset probably for sure. George Edwards says, this is the last stop, guys. Get on the train and get ready to sing country roads and walk with some swag. That's right. The swagger's back in Morgantown. The hard edge is back. The toughness is back because Rich Rod is back. And speaking of that, I want to share the video that we've been trying to share some videos highlighting some of the great speeches and just some stuff to kind of get us excited on the way here when we were hoping it would be Rich Rod and the university. Was wondering what they would release if it was ever official, and this is the video they put together. And I'd be lying if it didn't get me teared up when I was watching it in the car with my wife, who of course she couldn't help but smile watching me cry. I don't know if it was because she felt happy because I was happy, or because she was making fun of me because I was crying so much. I've cried multiple times, I think, just so happy and so nostalgic over this for sure. But let's share the video that the university came up with. Great job as always by the media team. A little 2-minute video here that they put out after the hire became official. If you guys haven't seen it already, think you're really going to enjoy it. So let's check it out here.
They want to have a 7-on-7 drill. We want to make it a fist fight. Understand me? Clean, legal football. Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football. Held the rope till the end. That's the way we play football at West Virginia University. We play hard all the time. That's fine. We don't know what's the matter. West Virginia football.
We're out of the field. The ball game is over. Yeah,
Proud of you, young men. Everything was against us. 2 goal line stands. They're expecting some big party. We're not having a party today. It's a football game. Understand me? We're playing a football game. It's not a party. Hold that damn rope. And we ain't letting it go. But you'll have fun when you play a football game the way we play.
touchdown! Unbelievable! Man, he has a ball caught. Touchdown! West Virginia wins. Touchdown! Ronnie Brady, first down, West Virginia. And that kick is good. 25-20, 15-10, 5, end zone, touchdown. He did it. Patrick White, that's Rose, taking home.
People, until you play us, they don't understand how physical we are. You ain't backing down from nobody. Every step, on every step, let them know what we're about. That means when they play the Mountaineers, you play West Virginia football, put a little more tape on, take the shoes up a little tighter, put a little more air in the helmet, and you better go.
Nah, man, you gotta love it. You gotta love that. That's great stuff right there. That'll get you wanting to run through a brick wall. And as we said there, the 8 months, it's hard to, it's gonna be a long wait for those 8 months, but that stuff right there makes you wish it was tomorrow. But you get to see this 2025 team and what it's gonna look like with Rich Rod at the helm now. And I'm excited to see what pieces he brings in here onto the roster to build up this team. It's gonna be very exciting, guys. Got WVU Shrews 15. Appreciate you tuning in and chiming in. Any thoughts on who the D coordinator could be? We talked a little bit about it last night, just kind of initial thoughts. I'm planning to hopefully dig in more and try and maybe, put some predictions together on who could potentially be, staff members. I think there's certainly some guys that'll probably fall in from Jacksonville State. Rod Smith was one that I was considering, but it sounds like from what I've heard that he may be taking over as the interim coach, coaching in the bowl game, and he could be in consideration for the to take over as the head coach at Jacksonville State. If, that ends up happening, obviously he won't come. But I think if he doesn't get the head job there, I think he'll coach the bowl game and then come join Rich Rod at WVU. Because if you guys remember, the great Calvin McGee, rest in peace, stayed at WVU, coached the Fiesta Bowl before going to join Rich Rod at Michigan. So it would be a similar thing to what happened there. So I think Rod Smith's potentially one that could join from the Jacksonville State staff. I think Rick Trickett will come coach the offensive line. I think that you'll probably get Pat Kirkland to come. Some others there may come as well. But as far as defensive coordinator, I don't think that he'll bring the one from Jacksonville State. He's a young guy, I think he's 31, 32, 33 years old, something like that. So, he's like my age. So super young and doesn't really, I don't think, have the credentials to necessarily be a power conference defensive coordinator. Could surprise me. But I know that there was another one that they have ties to named Zach Alley. He's the co-defensive coordinator at Oklahoma, though, and I believe he's the play caller there at Oklahoma, so it'd kind of be hard to steal him away, but that's one name that I have heard. The other two that probably instantly come to mind, I think, are obviously Jeff Castile. Would he come out of retirement? I don't know. But that's maybe something that you got to think about potentially, just if you're thinking about getting the band back together. But the other name is, I think, Jamal Adai. Do you try and get him away from the Bills and bring him back as one? That's the other one that I've heard come up. But those are just three off the top of my head. I'm sure that there's plenty of others. Once I dig into it, I'll be able to come up with as far as defensive coordinator names. But, as far as offensive staff guys, we mentioned Rick Trickett's probably coming over with him, but maybe you bring Clint and Travis, or at least one of the two. You probably give a call to Pat White, see if you can get him away from the NFL as well, put him on your offensive staff. I don't see why you wouldn't consider that, but that's just some of my initial things that have came to my head kind of off the top of it, just thinking about potential staff members there. But I wanted to also talk a little bit then, of course, now, guys, we got to talk a little bit about the press conference. And I'll pull up from the university here a little bit of information about that, and we'll talk about the press conference, because I think that this is pretty good stuff. And as I put it up, I'm going to start a poll in the chat for the poll of the stream here today, talking and just asking a little bit about the press conference, which is going to actually involve, of course, Pat McAfee, and of course 4 options there, and you guys vote on that, and we'll share the results there towards the end of the stream, just to kind of gauge that. We always like to run the polls here throughout the stream. But let's see here. Here we are. All right, so from the WVU Sports social media, join us tomorrow as Pat McAfee Show introduces Real Coach Rod at the WVU Coliseum. Open to the public, of course. The gates open at 10:30. The live on-site broadcast begins at noon on ESPN. So the Pat McAfee Show, of course, and the press conference will be on at 1:30. So Pat McAfee Show typically runs from 12 to 3. So it's going to run pretty much from 12 to 1:30, lead into the press conference, which will pretty much take up the rest of the Pat McAfee airtime there on the channel there, the final hour, of course, because you'll have to probably allot, 20, 30 minutes there for commercials as well when you're considering being on TV. But introducing Coach Rich Rod, the introductory press conference in the Coliseum associated with the Pat McAfee Show. So not only will we get to watch it, be streamed by the university like we usually do. Instead, this will be streamed nationally on ESPN and YouTube. Great exposure for the university, the introductory press conference for Rich Rodriguez, and another Pat McAfee Show right at WVU. We saw how awesome it was to have that prior to the Penn State game. We're going to get that again, and now from inside the Coliseum. So probably going to be even more crazy. Can't wait to see how the students and how the crowd turns out and how much of the public goes, which is what I asked you guys, of course, in the poll of the stream here, is that are you going to attend it? And I had just, of course, the simple yes or no options, and then no, but I wish I could, and then no, and I wouldn't if I could. Just have the 4 options filled up there, just kind of see how everybody's feeling about it. But let me pull up the university's official press release about that as well while we're discussing it. From about 30 minutes after the official announcement of the Rich Rod hire, Mike Montoro releases this on WVUsports.com that the Pat McAfee Show highlights the Rich Rod introductory press conference on Friday at the WVU Coliseum. Ren Baker will introduce Rich Rod, the Mountaineers 36 head football coach, on Friday, December 13th. Oh, it's crazy. I didn't realize it was Friday the 13th. That's funny. 1:30 p.m. in the WVU Coliseum. The event, which is open to the public, including all WVU students, will feature the Pat McAfee Show, hosted by former WVU kicker and punter and ESPN game day analyst Pat McAfee. The show will broadcast on-site live from the Coliseum from noon until 2 and then on ESPN, and then shift to YouTube/ESPN Plus from 2 to 3. Fans will be able to enter from the Gold Gate starting at 10:30. Seating for the show will be available in sections 109 to 115 and C1 to C5. So some information to know if you are one that plans on attending here. Additional seating will be available for the press conference in 101 to 108. Limited concessions will be available for purchase. Parking will be available first come, first served basis at the Coliseum. All fans have to pass through metal detectors, clear bag policy in effect. I believe they're serving drinks there, beverages, if you're partaking in the adult beverages there. Of course, talks a little bit about the Pat McAfee Show there, as we know, but just pretty cool there that's getting to happen for the introductory press conference, something that's never been done after kind of an historic hire for West Virginia right here that's going to be talked about, a great story in all of sports, and historic press conference to go along with it, because I can say probably it's pretty certain that a West Virginia's head football coach press conference has never been streamed on ESPN and ESPN Plus and YouTube, nationally. So that's pretty awesome as well. And that's one of the bonuses, having, one of our alumnus, Pat McAfee in the fold there, was such a great guy. That's such a big national personality. So that's the big news, of course, is the official news of the hire and the press conference details there. Wanted to cover those with you guys. And speaking of Pat McAfee, I want to share a clip of him talking a little bit about the hire from his show today. And then I will catch up in the chat with you guys. But here is a clip of Pat McAfee talking a little bit about the hire. Of course, he's very excited. He's, people have been watching the Pat McAfee Show the past couple of days, hoping that he would, kind of be announcing the hiring on his show. And, he's been nice enough to address it and talk about it both times, at least for the people that did decide to, tune in both times there for his show, hoping that he would announce it those couple of days. And when he didn't end up doing it, but nonetheless, of course, we get to hear his thoughts after it becomes official this morning prior to his show going live. So we'll hear that here and then get to see his show live in Morgantown. At least that's a good consolation prize. Despite the news not breaking on a show, you get to the introductory press conference and a show live from Morgantown tomorrow. But here is the clip, some of Pat McAfee's thoughts here.
He also has quite a motivation. He wants to go back and make it right. And I think that was the most evident thing of the conversations that I had with him. And obviously there was a lot of people that I am a big fan of that reached out that wanted the coaching job at West Virginia. It was a very desirable position. People from all across the country at a lot of different schools, younger and older, wanted to get into Morgantown because they understand that a sleeping giant is in those beautiful hills of West Virginia. And every time I got a chance to talk to Coach Rod, it was very clear because I asked him, because I still think about that Pitt game every single day of my life, every day. I asked him, I said, you're a super competitive human being. You have to be like me. You have to think about that night on a very regular basis. And he said, Pat, I do. And I said, do you view this as an opportunity to go back? And he said, to make it right? Yeah. Do I have unfinished business? Yeah. Do I owe the people of West Virginia the best I got because how everything ended last time? Yeah. And if I get that opportunity to do that, I'm going to work my ass off to make it happen. He said, I'll earn the people's trust back. I'll earn the people's like back. And we will earn our way back into the college football conversation. And I'll tell you what, I was sold quickly. I was sold quickly on it because if he's as motivated as I am to make West Virginia a winner, I know he's going to be great, but he has it even more so because that has kind of been a cloud that has lingered behind him every single step that he's taken, not only by the public and everything else, but also by the people that he grew up with in West Virginia. He's pumped to get the opportunity to go back and make it right. And I can't wait to see the heights that the Flying WV goes. I've been talking about how awesome that place is. We went there the day before the opener against Penn State. I think we had 6,000 students packed into an area that was 105 degrees, so hot out there that our generators actually overheated and we couldn't even operate. 6,000 students were just out there celebrating football, celebrating life. West Virginia University is a monster. And I think Rich Rod, with his hard edge, his toughness, his attention to detail, his, command for excellence that he is going to show to every single player that plays for that West Virginia team going forward. And that's been fun to talk about with my old teammates too. Like, he's not going to be able to have every player play for him. You're going to have an incredible work ethic. You're going to have a phenomenal mental toughness. You're going to be talented. You're going to have super skill. But then you're going to also have a want to, and that's to win. And that's every part of your life. You're going to want to win. Rich Rod's like the most competitive human I've been around. All he wants to do is win, and he wants to make it right. That sounds like a recipe for success. Congrats to Ren Baker. Congrats to the Mountain.
All right, so impressive words there, and just really getting me excited hearing Pat McAfee talk about it, both there and then on the In the Gun podcast. If you guys haven't seen that, they had Pat McAfee come on there and join them. So you get Pat McAfee and Owen Schmidt talking a little bit about the hire. Of course, two guys that were really excited about it, and was, one of the things that keeps standing out to me is just him continuing to hammer home, mentioning Pat McAfee talking about Rich Rod when he's talked to him, hammering home how bad he wants to come home and make everything right, and not even come back and, build a winner again and get us back to national prominence, but get us back to the level he had us at and then some. He wants to surpass that, and that you can tell it really means a lot to him. And he's super happy to finally, get the chance to come back here and make it right and fix his legacy, and also get West Virginia back on the map again as well. And, on that In the Gun podcast, Pat McAfee talks a little bit about Rich Rod mentioning that he thinks he builds tough teams because he knows that's the culture of West Virginia, and West Virginia is tough, and that's why he thinks he's always built tough teams. And he said he knows how to do that at West Virginia because he knows he is a West Virginian, and that's part of the reason he's able to do it, and part of the reason that mentality is coming back. That hard edge thing is for real. And you heard Owen and Pat both going back and forth on that, so be sure to check that out too if you guys haven't already. That was really good. Also, just as good as that clip was, man, give you chills, get you super excited about this. But we also got to share this, guys, because since we've been streaming here, he is back, literally. And just to start it off here, they've kind of chronicled this a little vlog style on social media a little bit. So share these posts here from the university. This is, of course, when Ren Baker was about to take off and go get Rich Rod. And you can see he's actually FaceTiming Pat McAfee here when he's doing it.
Hey, I'm getting ready to get on a plane to go get him, so we're fired up. We're gonna have a blast tomorrow, man. I appreciate you.
Congratulations, brother. You should be proud of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it, brother. Let's go, Mountaineers.
All right, so there's Ren taking off to go get Rich Rod and bring him home. And then we get to see, of course, the next step in that process was arriving there to pick him up, as we see here in this clip from the university as well. As you can see, they're at Jacksonville State there. You see the walls, of course, with the Jacksonville State colors. So picking him up and getting him on the plane. And once they get on the plane and Rich Rod changes into the WVU, that's what makes you really, really smile. So So, of course, Rich Rod and Rita and Rhett and the family there with Ren Baker. And then just moments ago on social media as well from the West Virginia football account. Literally back. There he is walking into the facilities, and is he not going to be blown away when he sees the new facilities? He sees the new stadium, the lights, all the upgrades, how different the concourse of the stadium is, how different, of course, the amenities are, everything that he has to work with now that was nowhere near like that when he was previously here. I'm sure he's going to be blown away by that, and he'll probably talk about that tomorrow in his press conference or in his appearance on the Pat McAfee Show. But man, those got me smiling ear to ear, just those clips, man. And the fact that it's so real, and just seeing him walk back into the building is so surreal. What a moment right there to chronicle. And shout out to the social media team at West Virginia, always doing a great job. And we always try and share their work and commend them here and credit them for it when we can on CRW, because they do such a good job, an awesome job there kind of chronicling that journey to go getting Rich Rod and bringing him home. The return of the king, right, guys? Indeed. Catch up in the chat a little bit here. And then I got one more little piece of info I want to share with you guys that I think is really super cool that can help benefit West Virginia as they build this roster, guys. We can do our part to help as well. We may not be one of those big money donors that can donate a ton of money that's probably going to do that now that Rich Rod's home. A lot of those guys are, but we can just do little minuscule things that'll help as well, because if all of us do that, that adds up the same way. So I want to talk more about that here momentarily, but let me catch up in the chat real quick and take a swig of my coffee first, and I'll check up in the chat with you guys. Appalachian Paisano channel member here, and I think I saw somebody else asking a similar question here in the chat. Do we think he will be coaching the bowl game? No, he's not. It's still going to be Chad Scott. They've already been, doing bowl prep, and of course the game's, 5 days away, and he's just now getting here. So no way, they'd be able to prep in time or anything. So he may travel though. He may go to the bowl game, be up in the press box watching or something. I'd say perhaps that's a possibility, but no, the remaining staff that stayed here and Chad Scott will see it out. And Then we'll see what happens with Rich Rod's staff that he builds. If he chooses to keep any of those guys, I would suspect, maybe Ryan Nealon, Rasheed Marshall, Blaine Stewart would be the three that he would potentially keep. We'll see if anyone else beyond that. But no, he won't be coaching the bowl game. We'll be waiting on him to take over after that, but I'm sure he'll be working on recruiting the portal and stuff here probably as soon as he touches down in the next few days. But it's pretty cool. Eric Flowers said, I'm thinking about driving up, but probably going to be too chaotic. There'll be people camping out and burning couches to stay warm. It probably will be a good scene there. I think it'll be pretty well attended, but it's pretty cool either way. I'm not going to get to go. I have to work in the morning. Of course, luckily I work a short shift. I get off like right at 1, so I'll be off right around the time the press conference is going to be starting, luckily, so I'll be able to watch it at least on my drive home. But if I could go, I would. So that would be, my vote there in the poll. But if you guys are here live, be sure to vote in that poll. We'll share those results before we wrap up here, but catch up here in the chat here if we got any other questions or anything here. Channel member WVU Earl, appreciate you. So happy he is back, as am I. And if you guys want to be a channel member like WVU Earl, get that cool WVU football helmet beside your name, you can just hit the join button down below the channel name near the video description there. We'll get that extra WVU football content. So can't recommend it enough if you're a big-time Mountaineer football fan, especially throughout the season. It's great through the off-season as well. We keep putting up content to keep you busy there, but in season, it's really comes flooding at you as much as you can handle, and it helps us, keep this channel going also, so we really appreciate that. But also, if you want to support us fast, easy, and free way, be sure and like and subscribe. But the other thing that I want to share with you guys before we get ready to wrap up, I want to share those poll results, and then we'll wrap up. But the other thing is, guys, we got to do our part as well. We want West Virginia to be successful. We know that bringing Rich Rod back is one way to get more money infused into this program that can really help us a lot, and we also know that Ren Baker, we knew that he was a fundraiser, and I think this is another thing that shows that he knows what it takes to build this program up in this era is because of that. But also it takes us as fans doing our part, whether it's being a member of Country Roads Trust, doing donations, or just doing little NIL things that will really help benefit that NIL, the Country Roads Trust there at WVU. And here is one that I think is fun that you guys will probably enjoy. I've already supported it myself, and you get a little something out of it yourself. So check this out. The NIL shop on social media there, the NIL shop website, is running a promotion right now where they're giving 100% of the proceeds to Country Roads Trust for the remainder of the year. So if you buy, from any time from now to December 31st, if you buy any one of these 4 shirts, they're all $20, which is a markdown because shirts there I think are usually $35, $40, 100%. So at $20, you're putting that directly into Country Roads Trust. So even if you don't want to go on the website, make a one-time donation, you can go here, get you either a Hold the Rope shirt, a Spot the Ball shirt, a Welcome Home Coach shirt, or a Goodwin Patrick shirt. And I think they also have Bring Back glossy helmets as well, even though they don't have the picture of it here. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Bring Back glossy helmets. And there's the direct links below here if you guys want to head to this. I'm going to drop the link to this post in the chat in case you guys want to check it out there on social media. And if you want to support, and I encourage you guys to do so there live, and I'll try and drop it in the comments for the people watching on a playback and have it pinned there as well. But pretty awesome. And these are available in both gold or blue. And like I said, 100% of this goes to West Virginia's NIL collective, the Country Roads Trust. So you're benefiting the university, and you'll have a cool shirt to wear on game days. I got me a blue Spot the Ball shirt. I got this one here. And then I've ordered me a gold Hold the Rope shirt. So I'll have both, and I'll have a gold and a blue. So whether it's a Gold Rush, Stripe the Stadium, or a True Blue, I'm ready to go for next season already. Head up there to Morgantown and support the team as Touchdown City returns and we get our hard edge back. We're going to be holding the rope and spotting the ball, so I figured I'd get a shirt of each. But you could also get Welcome Home Coach, Goodwin Patrick, or the Bring Back glossy helmets. But definitely check that out, guys. I dropped that link in the chat there. If you guys want to support, definitely do it. As WVU Earl channel member here says, it's a great day to be a Mountaineer. Indeed. Jerry Cicacella says, I will send a check soon, albeit unfortunately relatively small, but as I used to say, something is better than nothing. And you beat Pitt. Indeed. Hey, that's all that matters, man. It doesn't matter if it's $5 or $500. Whatever you can give to help, is really good to the university, especially at this time where it seems like we're trying to get a big influx to be able to build an awesome roster for Coach Rod and his return, and hopefully get WVU back on the map and back to glory, guys. That's what we're hoping for. But really appreciate you guys tuning in this stream. That's pretty much all I've got here. Just wanted to share the official updates there, share some awesome clips that are going around as we've seen Rich Rod now touchdown back in Morgantown. And of course, we've got the press conference coming up tomorrow on the Pat McAfee Show. So tune in on ESPN or YouTube at noon. And of course, that'll run till 1:30, and then the official press conference will be streamed there as well from 1:30 until 2:30 or 3, however long it goes on there. And probably you'll get Red Baker and Rich Rod popping up on the Pat McAfee Show. But either way, pretty awesome to have that broadcast on ESPN. So that's the major update here to kind of summarize. And then also, of course, sharing the official press release where you get the comments from Ren Baker and Rich Rod and some awesome video clips in there as well that I wanted to share with you guys. Eric Weissong, channel member here as well. Appreciate you as always. Eric says, spot the ball begins now. Hell yeah. Hey, that's right. That's right. Hey, Uncle Larry, let the smack talk begin, Uncle Larry. He says Pitt's coming down 79 and smack Rich Rod around one more time. Hey, we're ready, Uncle Larry. I love it. I love it. That game on September 13th, which I'll say it before, I'll say it again, just shows how much the universe wanted this to happen the last time we played before a 2 or 3 year hiatus, however long it is. And the game's on 9/13, and it'll be Rich Rod's first game at home against the Power 5 opponent. That atmosphere is going to be insane, Uncle Larry. So y'all better be ready, man. I can't wait, though. That's going to be an all-time game right there. As Eric says here, LOL, spot the ball, Uncle Larry. Hey, that's right. That is what it's all about, Uncle Larry, the back and forth. I love the rivalry, and I think the rivalry is now even going to be turned up to like 11. I can't wait to see the back and forth between Pat Narduzzi, as I like to call him, and Rich Rod. I think it's going to be a lot more fun now because Pat Narduzzi won't be able to just sun Rich Rod the way he did Neil Brown a little bit. It'll be fun to see that back and forth. But hey, Uncle Larry, I appreciate you hopping in here, man, and letting the trash talk begin already. 8 months out, it's going to be a fun build up for sure. But appreciate that, Uncle Larry, really do. And I appreciate everyone that's tuned in here to the last order of business before I wrap this up. I got to wrap this up shortly because we're going to be recording the bowl game preview podcast. The Frisco Bowl is coming up on Tuesday, so we're going to get together here in about an hour or so. Steven and I think Brad's still under the weather, unfortunately, but he'll probably be with us for the live stream that we do where we get your all's predictions, hopefully probably do that potentially on Sunday or Monday. Something like that is what we're looking at, or maybe even try and do it on Tuesday before the game. We'll see how it works out with schedules, but we're going to be recording our bowl game preview podcast and releasing that most likely tomorrow or Saturdays when that'll be out for you guys to listen to. So be sure check that out. Of course, you can find the video here on our YouTube or on WVSportsNow.com, or you can find it on all podcast platforms. So that's why I can't stick with you guys forever, but I'd love to stay and chat, but got to get some notes ready, look up Memphis, get some things together on them and get ready for that podcast. But let's end the poll here, see what we're looking like as far as people attending the press conference tomorrow. The poll of the stream here was asking you guys, will you attend the Pat McAfee Show to watch Rich Rod's press conference? And funny enough, man, this is like, the third or fourth day in a row here on these streams that you guys have kind of agreed with me, as 56% says no, but I wish I could, which is where I'm at as well. But we do have 32% of people here in the chat attending. Hey, that's awesome, guys. Shout out to you. I'm jealous. 32% yes. 7% still a little butthurt, say no, and they wouldn't want to. Hey, you're entitled to that opinion. And just 3% regular no. So by the most part, still kind of optimistic, leaning more heavy on the Rich Rod side, as has been in these recent streams for sure for us there. But those are the poll results here for the stream. But that will pretty much do it for this one, guys. Really appreciate everybody that tuned in and chimed in here as always. And if you didn't get a chance to watch live, you're watching on a playback, you can still help out by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing here to the channel. And be sure you got that notification bell clicked so you know when we do go live and you can hop in and chat and talk with us live. Be back to chat with you guys live again soon in the near future. There'll be plenty of news as we build this coaching staff and build this roster for Coach Rich Rod, who is officially back now. But if you are watching the playback and you want to share some thoughts, throw them in the comment section. Appreciate those interactions as well. They help us to grow the CRW community throughout Mountaineer Nation. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Super excited. We're holding the rope and spotting the ball again, guys. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz. And until next time, let's go, Mountaineers.